We're chatting about NASA.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, not even just NASA, because if you've been following, India just claimed to get involved. The Chinese. I've got some great footage of India's moon landing, which is looks like it's straight out of the Ataris we used to play back in the early '80s. And I've got the Chinese spacewalks, and what we'll get into. It's a space business, is what it is. A lot of people say, why would they be faking space? Why are they faking all this? Why aren't they really flying? And we'll get into that. I'll show you exactly how much cash they're making off this, and we're paying for it. Their money is coming from our government, and our government's money comes from our credit. So we're paying for these people to extort money from us and give it to all their buddies and their, the Raytheon and Skunk Labs, and all their little contractor buddies are just raping billions. And I'll show you. And when people see this, so the flat Earth people will say, because they're hiding the firmament and they're hiding God, and you're not a speck of dust. That's probably, I believe in that stuff too. But today, I don't care if you're a ball earther or a flat earther. I'm going to show you the cash incentive. Why either way, this is such a gravy train. This is one of the reasons they're doing it. Yeah.
When you talk about business, what do you mean by that?
Profit for all your rich buddies and your contractor buddies, just like war. A guy who rents a room in my flat, he's ex-Swedish Special Forces. He was saying, man, you think the war is big money? He said the contractors who supply the shoelaces for the boots, the food for all the soldiers in the base, the toilets, they're charging $10,000 for a toilet, which you could go out and buy at Home Depot for $200 or whatever. So, the real gravy trains are all these contracts. Same when they blow up Gaza right now. Someone's going to have to rebuild that after they put their Ben Gurion Canal in there. And that will definitely go to the contractor buddies, and someone's going to rape billions and billions off the rebuilding. And the space industry is like that. Let's start with that, actually. Can I share my screen with you? This comes from my friend Jerm Campanella from Jerronism and Globebusters. On the left here, you see hundreds of billions of dollars, right? The first column on the left in the green is the entire music industry. That includes the videos, that includes the CDs, Spotify, Apple Music, all the online music, all the record sales, CDs, MP3s, that whole industry. And that also includes the music players, that's stereos and CD players. They bring in $19.3 billion a year. The next, you see movie and home entertainment. That includes all the Netflix, video rentals, downloads, streaming, everything, even the devices. That industry brings $136 billion a year. Next, you have the video games. Now, this also includes your apps. This is like your video apps, home video gaming, the devices, so all the Xboxes and PlayStations and all that crap, the phones that you play the games on, every device. They bring in 137 billion a year. Combined, those three industries bring in $292 billion a year. And to the right is the space industry, which brings in $410 billion a year, which is almost double of all of those other three industries combined. Movie includes Hollywood, by the way. That's the entire Hollywood, profit and budget for all Hollywood and television movies as well. So when people say, well, why are they doing this? Why are they faking going to space? Well, wouldn't you say $410 billion a year is a pretty good reason, to fake that? I would.
When we talk about space, just for clarity, what are we talking about?
We're talking about space programs where they claim they're going to the moon, or they've got the ISS, International Space Station, floating around up there, or they're sending probes, out, Cassini out to the deep space and diving through Saturn's rings, which we'll talk about what a joke that is. and the satellite programs and anything out of upper atmosphere. So let's say any person or equipment out over, say, 100,000 feet in the air, 120,000 feet.
Okay, so when Elon launches a rocket, what's happening there?
Well, you can see the arc and curve. The same thing that happens with a rainbow or when you shoot a bottle rocket on the 4th of July or New Year's Eve. You see it go up and then it starts curving and then it comes down again. Now, Elon's are going much higher than NASA's. So you'll see when you see the SpaceX launches, and I'll show you that those are all digital. What you're seeing on Elon Musk's television screen is digital. But you will see them splash into, they almost look like a speedboat. You'll see them hit what looks like water and they look like a speedboat. Now, this is where the flat earth people will say that's hitting the waters above under the firmament. And it really, really does look like that. We're not really going to get into that, but I'm going to, I can show you. Remember Elon Musk said he sent a Tesla up into space?
Yeah.
You remember that red car he launched, right? And this is a screenshot I took from the video, and people should go look at this video. Now, one thing I would point out, or a few things actually, you can see down here the yellow arrow on the car, right? That is a localized light spot. Yet he is not lit up, just a little thing on his sleeve, and the entire Earth, allegedly, behind him is lit up. Now, if the sun is 93 million miles away, it cannot leave a tiny little hot spot on a car or his jacket while illuminating the entire Earth behind it, right? So you have to say, okay, what is that light source down there on the car under the yellow arrow? If it's not lighting him up, how is he in the car not completely lit up from either the front or the side if the entire Earth is lit up from a sun 93 million miles away? And as you start to watch the video, there comes a point really quickly in the video. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Where the Earth behind him disappears, the hot spot changes, and these white lines appear. Can you see my cursor as well?
Yes.
Now, not only does that happen, and this is in the middle of his live alleged quote unquote video, right? This suddenly glitches in. Now, see that black pole where my cursor is?
Yes.
That comes in behind the car, and you say, well, what the hell is that? Now, he's front lit, and I'm going to show you what that is. That is this. Do you see the black pole where the yellow arrow is?
Yes.
This is what you're looking at when Elon Musk tells you he launched a Tesla into space. You are looking at a camera pointed at this fake car in a green screen studio with that black thing is the thing I just showed you behind the car when it glitched out. There is no Tesla floating around in space. That explains why there was a hot spot in the front left of the car and only his jacket, because that was clearly a studio camera light. Clearly. And they put the Earth in behind. I took this still out of a live video and you can go watch it. This is in his official SpaceX footage. That car is flying through space, and for a quick second, this appears. This isn't a still. I took this from his video off his website, and that black pole right there behind that car is the one I just showed you. And here you go. Here it is. Why would they have this set up? You see what I'm saying? Like, if you what? And you'd also have to ask, as with the moon landings, right? With the moon landings, when Neil Armstrong gets off the shower curtain, the $10 billion spaceship made out of duct tape and shower curtain, who's filming this? Is there an astronaut flying around next to this car? And they do this all the time. You get so caught up in the emotion, you never ask stupid questions like, well, who filmed Neil Armstrong getting off the spaceship?
A camera was placed there via a probe or something.
Like an unmanned mission, you mean?
Yes.
Like, yeah, they sent a camera down and then somehow they got to land right next to it. Well, that's a good one too. let's listen to Buzz because he was there.
I also struggle with that.
Yeah, I mean, okay, plausible. Let's hear what Buzz Aldrin has to say about it because he was one of the 3 in the first ones who landed on the moon.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen. So in the future, if we want to keep doing something, we need to know why something stopped in the past that we wanted to keep it going.
Here's him on Conan O'Brien. So Conan's asking him about when they watched them. I was just born, but when people watch the moon landing on TV, right? So let's see what he says to Conan O'Brien. So he told that girl we never went to the moon. Let's see what he says to Conan about what did we see then on TV.
I don't want to be presumptuous here. I can call you Buzz. Okay.
That's a legal name. Passport, driver's license.
And I am Uncle Coney tonight.
Uncle Coney.
Let's talk about this because this is fascinating. I remember very clearly, I think anybody who was alive at the time does. I remember my parents waking me up and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. See, you associated what you saw with...
I have very hazy memories.
Yeah, I know.
Well, no, but what we saw was we all were gathered around the old curved top radio and listened.
Talking about how many feet we were going to the left and right, and then I said contact light, engine stop,
and
a few other things, and then Neil said, Houston, Tranquility Base, the Eagle has landed.
So he said nobody was filming that.
Yeah, he said you watched animation. He said you didn't watch
the landing, though. Was he referring to the landing?
He's saying you didn't see us land on the moon and get off. So when you said, could they have sent a probe there? According to him and Conan O'Brien, no, you didn't. You saw a stage setup, right? Now, here's how I can prove to you that's true. When you take a picture of yourself and the sun's behind you or in front of you, does your shadow go all the way to the horizon? Now, remember, a visual horizon is 3.5 miles to 4 miles away. Have you ever seen your shadow as a 6-foot-tall person make it to the 3.5 mile away horizon? Have you ever? No.
No.
Okay, now, see, and this is the thing. Once you start looking, the thing is, this stuff's so emotional, right? People get all caught up in the drama and the music and the story. Once you just start looking, and you're an artist, you pay attention to detail. Once you start seeing it, you can't unsee it. So, a picture like this.
Yes.
Now, right behind him is the horizon. So behind the astronaut, you can see where my cursor is. That should be about 3.5 miles away. That's a visual horizon, which looks great, right? But look in the middle of his helmet. The photographer's shadow is almost going to the horizon, 3.5 miles away on the other side behind the photographer. And the moon lander, which is made out of tinfoil, duct tape, and shower curtain rods for $10 billion, its shadow is almost reaching the horizon, 3.5 miles away for a 25-foot machine.
If I were to play devil's advocate, could I say that that's just an illusion of perspective?
You could say that, but if I would love to see you go out then and make an experiment and show me any way you could get a shadow to go 3.5, 4 miles to a horizon. You could say that, but I would ask you to prove it, and I would tell you you can't. So what that's showing you is that studio, they're in a studio. It's like that movie. Remember that movie Capricorn 1? Did you ever see that old one in the 70s with OJ? You should really watch this. I can't remember the guy's name. So one of the guys who worked on the NASA mission, he was going to write a book exposing that this was done in a studio, they done some of the shots outdoor in the desert, and then they did a studio for the landing. All of a sudden, Hollywood puts out this movie Capricorn 1, where they're supposed to be going to Mars, not the moon, but same thing. And right before the president's going to pull the funding because people don't care about space anymore. And right before the 3 astronauts take off, they pull them down the emergency chute.
We are T-minus 18 seconds from liftoff. We're T-minus 15 seconds.
Would you and your men please follow me?
Jerry, what the hell is this?
This is an emergency. Please follow me now.
T-minus 10 seconds. 9, 8. We have ignition.
And the rocket takes off and dumps in, and they get taken to this place where they're told they have to fake the landing on Mars or else their families are going to be killed, right? And then, of course, they find out later they're going to be killed too, so they escape. And, so basically, like, Hollywood put out this story, but they put it out differently. And everyone saw it like if.
Once the crew are on board, if it looks as if they're in danger, they get out and head down this tube, specially insulated against fire, and zigzagging down not to some point out and away from the rocket, but to an escape room exactly where you'd think it shouldn't be. 3.5 minutes after they get the warning in the capsule, the crew could be down here in the blast escape room via that 200-foot escape tube, 40 feet below the base of the rocket. They find themselves in a totally rubber room, walls and floors, and they head for safety through a 6-inch steel door. Once they're behind that door, it doesn't matter what comes down this tube behind them. On this side of that door, the rarely seen blast escape room itself. It's totally isolated from everything around it by a series of 24 giant springs underneath the floor and shells all around it of steel, concrete, and sand.
Like the Earthrise pictures, when you look up at, I'll share again here. When we look up at the moon, allegedly, and again, I don't want to get into flat Earth stuff or anything here, but allegedly, the Earth is 4 times bigger than the moon. I thought I had a picture of the moon, but when you go on the NASA website, and this is on their website, when you take a look at the size of the moon, or the Earth above the guy, it's smaller than we see the moon. But you would, the Earth should look huge in the sky. Here we go. Yeah, this was taken by, I think, the Japanese or Chinese one.
The Kaguya Moon.
Now, for starters, does that look fake as hell or what? Just, I mean, you know what I mean? Are you telling me that's the moon? Like, look how bad the horizon is. Now, the Earth allegedly is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, which would give you your alleged 24-hour rotation days. Therefore, you'd think the clouds would move a little bit at over a 15-minute Earthrise, right? Over a time lapse. So pay attention.
On the far side of the moon, the blue Earth has appeared from the horizon.
Now, for starters, too, look at the ground. If you were sitting on the ground, why would the ground be rolling towards you? Right?
Yes, and also apparently the moon is not gray. Apparently.
Well, we'll get into that, yeah, because we'll get into that in a little bit. The moon would be white as the sun if it were under direct sunlight, but I'll get into that in a second. But anyway, if you were standing on the ground, right, filming an Earthrise, why would the ground be rolling at you? And then watch the Earth over a 15-minute time lapse. The clouds don't move at all. It's not spinning. Nothing happens. It's like it's a painting over CGI.
The blue Earth has appeared from the horizon. This is the Earthrise, as captured by the telephoto camera.
The telephoto camera.
Steve, could the moving moon underneath, could that not be because the camera is, I don't know, in a low orbit above the moon?
No, they're allegedly on the moon. They're on it. They're allegedly filming the Earthrise over the moon. So look at this. The clouds don't even, it's a painting. Look at this.
The sun is located right behind the Kaguya. The sun's light projected directly onto the Earth, which appears round like a full moon. In this footage, the Earth's southern hemisphere appears on top.
Now, here's the problem with being on the moon. You can read a book by the moonlight on a full moon. In other words, the alleged sun bouncing off the moon is so bright that it reflects 240 or 70,000 miles back to Earth, so bright that you can read a book by it. So there's a thing called the inverse square law of light. Whenever you have a light source, and anyone can go out to their garage and test this, every meter away from the light source, the light gets twice as wide and half as bright, intense, right? And then another meter, it gets twice as wide and half as bright as that. If you can read a book by the moonlight from 240 or 70,000 miles away, and then every meter you half that or double that intensity, the moon would be as bright as the sun. And when they're on it, it's a gray, dusty ball, right? No. And it's the same with the sun as well. It can't be 93 million miles away because, again, every meter, you wouldn't see the sun from Earth if it were 93 million miles away because of the inverse square law. If you started, you see what I'm saying? It would be nothing. It wouldn't be lighting up the entire Earth, you know. But that's getting into flat Earth. So they're not on there. And then you can see, like, I love the moon because it's so bogus, but it's not the only one. Well, let's do the India one here. This is a great one. So India's getting into the $54 billion a year race too. And it's really great that India and China are getting involved because they're so dodgy that you can see it for what it is. This is supposed to be real.
3, 2, 1, 0. The strap-ons have separated, which will burn till 1 minute 50 seconds. PS1 स्टेज को पृथक किया जाएगा तथा PS2 स्टेज का प्रज्वलन स्टेज सेपरेटेड of the second stage has been confirmed.
Here we go. Second stage has begun.
Second stage performance normal.
Look at mission control.
Hold on. Did they claim that was meant to be real footage though? I mean, it's obviously an animation.
Yeah, exactly. I had the other one too. Let me see if I can find it. The one where it lands on the screen, like the thing, it literally is taken out of like, what were those old video games? Galaga or Galaxy? You know, like this is one of space. Now, what you'll see is NASA does this too. Whenever they take off, they never have with all the billions these spaceships allegedly cost, they never have like 5 cameras on there pointing down or up or around. You know, they always make a cut at certain stages and then cut to another camera because that's part of the trickery. They also do it when they land, SpaceX landings. They just kind of cut and then suddenly it's landing and you're like, why couldn't you show the whole thing? But here, this is off SpaceX website. Can you see my cursor?
Yeah.
So this is like a rocket allegedly going 17,000 miles an hour with a tin foil all over it. Watch the mouse start running around here. A mouse got into the studio. See him?
No, that can't be right.
See my cursor?
Yes.
See him? I'll back him up.
What is
See
that?
him? It's a mouse. He got onto the there's a mouse running around in space.
No,
on the back of a rocket in a vacuum.
No, come on. Somebody must have added that. Is that an official video?
That is right. Yeah, anyone can go to SpaceX and see this. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. These guys are faking all of this and they're doing it because they're getting billions. And because NASA's getting busted so bad, now they've got Elon Musk, you know, he's the new hero with electric cars and X. Now he's got, Twitter or whatever. And now it's private space, guys, because he's a public hero, so you can trust him. Oh, let me show you the Apollo 8 Earthrise. I do have that. Hold on. So that other one I showed you was the Kaya Gaga or whatever that was. This is allegedly the official Apollo 8 Earthrise. Here it comes. And again, watch the clouds. They never move. It's coming here. See, the clouds are always in the same position. It's like over a time lapse of 15-minute Earthrise, the damn thing hasn't moved at all. You're like, I thought it's spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. And this is clearly BS. And again, if the Earth is lit up that bright, then the moon would not be dusty gray like that. It would be so bright. Again, if the moon is closer to the sun, allegedly, and can reflect back so far that you can read to it. I did have, let me see. I thought I had the SpaceX landing, which is really bad, or maybe it's just a picture of it. Hold on. Just getting back to the sun real quick, right? Anytime we send up an amateur weather balloon without a fisheye lens, so that a fisheye lens curves everything, the horizon is not only totally flat, but the sun is local, and the sun leaves sunspots locally on the Earth. Now, if you went out to your garage with a flashlight and were standing right up to the garage, obviously the light would be leaving a local spot on the side of the garage. But if you backed up with the inverse square law, 500 feet even, the garage would be lit up evenly. But every time there's dozens and dozens of these amateur balloon footage, the sun is putting a sunspot as if it's local. That can't happen if it's 93 million miles away. But NASA's official photos at 100,000 feet have that, like, you can see almost an eighth of the curve of the Earth. But every time an amateur balloon goes up, it's just flat as a pancake. F-16 fighter pilot passing out at 1,000 miles an hour, and then them playing saxophones at 17,500 miles an hour. I mean, the speeds they're allegedly going would vaporize you, for starters. Same with the rocket noises.
Today we'll be looking at, or rather listening to, the incredible sounds of space rockets. These majestic machines not only fly very fast, they also make noise like you've never heard before. These things are loud. Here's a decibel chart to show you some examples of how noisy things can be. As you can see, potential hearing damage or loss begins at around 80 to 90 decibels, and the real pain kicks in at around 125. There is a number of reasons that no one can be close to a rocket launch. But what most people don't realize is that the exclusion zone around a launch is also because the sound of these things taking off is literally deadly if you are too close. When the massive Saturn V rocket launched, it gave out 220 decibels, which is loud enough to set grass on fire and melt concrete. It would also turn your internal organs into jelly and melt your bones. What a way to go. The exclusion zone is usually around 3 to 4 miles. If you've ever witnessed a launch at this distance, then you will know that even at 4 miles, it's bloody loud. Now let's see how close the astronauts are to the noise. 363 feet. These astronauts are sitting in an aluminium box less than 363 feet away from a noise that should kill them instantly. Let's take a look at how these brave men and women handled this life-threatening situation. They don't seem too bothered. Looks like one guy's reading the instruction manual. Where's their ear protection? How can they talk to mission control over all that noise? Simple answer, they're not sitting on top of that rocket. They're in a studio.
So George Bush, this one, he's going on a tour through the mission control. So see how they're pushing him through mission control. Can you see my mouse here?
Yes.
That's that astronaut. It's not Chris Hadfield. I can't remember his name. He's back there on a blue screen, a green screen, while they're CGI-ing him throwing stuff around. He's on the main board of mission control. See that? See
Yes.
them making stuff fly around that green ball behind them? They're showing you. They know it's CGI right there. They're showing you they're doing that. And here's him actually doing it again. That's the scene. So they caught him. That's him making that little bubble fly around. See on the right, see how he's got a bubble on the right there floating? And on the left is the green screen where they overlay the bubble later. This happened at like the end of one of their live feeds. They were all talking and then this happened.
And for the most part of 14.5-minute long video feed, everything appears to be normal. That is in that.
Watch
video.
this.
And so I'll play you that clip here and watch what happens at the very end.
Very much again. Thank you for your time. Have a good flight and many more exciting experiments on the orbit. Thanks a lot.
What's going on?
It's like Star Trek, like they got teleported out of the transporter beam. What happened is they signed off and the green screen technician shut off the software too early. So they glitched out. The technician thought the broadcast was done, but they were still filming. So they glitched out. See that? It's just a green screen fail with the overlay software. See that? Because they're not really there. Now you can see on the right, you see this window floating around where my mouse is on the right. There's like a big metal square window. All the stuff that's supposed to be floating with them is overlay. So this camera on the left will be floating. See, this thing's floating. See, this window on the right is moving around. That's because it's CGI. So everything that is not a backdrop, same with on the top right. Look at this box up here on the top right. That's moving, this window's moving, and they're moving. So those four things are CGI overlay. They're moving, and all four of those will glitch out. Watch.
Have a good flight and many more exciting experiments on the orbit. Thanks a lot.
Yep. See you later. And now they're all going to glitch. See that? See that? Even the window in the box. See that? All four of the things that were the only things moving in the clip are the only four things that glitched out. So no, that's not a camera mistake. That's like
Just to be clear though, those launches are real. I mean, people can go and watch them.
Ships go up, yeah, and that's the interesting thing in Capricorn 1. And we've got by the way, if people go to Space Busters on YouTube, we have a playlist called NASA Fanboys, where Ross and I have made like, I don't know, 15 or 16 videos with all this stuff. So if you want to see way more than I'm showing you, and there was a BBC documentary that showed the escape hatch in case something goes wrong, where the astronauts can eject at the last minute. They go down a slide, and then they go into like this bunker underneath the launch pad, you know, because the fire and stuff. But as Dave Weiss has showed, those are balloons. There's a rocket, but that's not thrusting them up because rockets take off like, but the space shuttles go, even though they have 4 giant Saturn rockets underneath them, they float up because they're just giant helium balloons with a rocket on the bottom.
Now, all the thrust is supposedly coming out of these things. So I would say these shouldn't be made out of balsa wood or balloon material. They should be pretty strong to lift up millions of pounds of weight. But look at this one. It's overinflated.
Yeah.
What is going on there? Right?
Dave, have you seen that? Have you seen that liftoff where the rocket literally folds in half?
Like it's a balloon itself almost.
Oh yeah. So the on the app, on the web button page, which is the more resources page, scroll down to rockets are balloons and watch those. It's It's mind blowing when you see. This is the space shuttle. I call it the space shuttle blimp, right? It's literally it's a helium rocket. It's literally helium, right? This is a helium. That's why it rolls on its back. Now this thing's over 4 million pounds, right? Look at this fence right here. Super hot thrust is going to come out of there. Fence doesn't even budge, right? Makes you think that these people are right there, right? But watch, it's going to go up and then down again. You don't lift 4 million pounds and make it go up and down. So we go up and back down again, right? You don't bounce like that unless you're a bouncy house, okay? Right? Yeah. And one more. So the story on the external tank, it supposedly falls so fast that it deatomizes and burns up and never hits the ground. Does that look like it's about to burn up and never hit the ground? Okay, so it's worse. This thing is falling so fast, it's going to burn up. How are they filming it?
Yeah.
How are they filming it? And wait, and it's worse. The person that's filming it is on the shuttle heading into space. So they're heading 20,000 miles an hour up as this thing is free falling.
Should be getting a lot smaller, but it's not.
In a second, a friggin' second.
Or you should see them zooming. It should be zooming to try to keep up with it. If
it can't. And this is just floating. And on the Rockets Are Balloons link, I have a detailed video where there's a cloaked, if you will, a hidden, some sort of technology aircraft that is following this thing. And it must be some sort of retrieval craft. And it's caught on film.
Following this thing as it's
trying to grab it. Yeah.
You also notice, like, they're never doing science in the ISS. Do you ever notice that? They got gorilla costumes and they're flipping eggs around and playing guitar. You know what I mean? Every time you see them, they're doing like monkey circus acts. They never do any science. So here they got a guitar, and I think the microphone goes wrong here into the.
The difference, of course, is you don't need a strap because it just floats in front of you. The strings behave about the same. But it can resonate really well because it's not deadened against your body. And it sounds about right here. We'll play some.
Now here, this will get nerdy because I'm in the music business, right? So I work in sound studios and stuff. Engineers, can you hear the audio on him okay too? It's important. Engineers take like an hour to get the microphone set up perfectly in the right spot on the guitar. And then if you move as a session player in between takes, they get really angry. You have to go back and sit exactly where you were, an inch from the mic, and where his mic is facing now, the guitar would be very bassy. If he had it way at the back on where his elbow is, it would be very trebly. This microphone goes flying off like 3 feet facing the wrong way, and the guitar doesn't change sounds, if you can hear this. The microphone's aiming straight in the air. It wouldn't even be recording that guitar, and it sounds exactly the same. Watch the mic.
Well, you know what is not faked in that video? Those chords look legit. I know the chords of that song also.
That's right. Yeah, and it was pretty clever. By now he's holding the guitar. And it's pretty good how they did this. I don't know if they used wires for this one to get them in, because sometimes they CGI them. Sometimes they bring in wires.
In front of you. The strings behave about the same, but it can resonate really well because it's not deadened against your body. And it sounds about right here. We'll play some.
And you can also see on their shoulders, right? You ever notice they always have these, like, you can see where the wires are attached on their back shirt. See how his shoulders always come up way too high? Like your collar doesn't go up to your ears. I've never seen a man whose collar goes up to their ears. So both of them, if you just watch their shoulders, you'll see the wires on their backs. See this? Get out of here.
It's not deadened against your body. That sounds about right. Here, we'll play some.
Now, again, you say his hands look right, right? They do look right. But do they? Look at how white the hand is playing guitar. Look at his skin. He's white, but he's not like white as a ghost. But look at his left hand that's doing the chords. It's like totally white. See, like he's got a glove. Look how white his hand is. What's that?
Also, he said that he doesn't need a strap, but now watch when he plays. He lifts up his leg to hold the guitar in position.
Good. I didn't even catch that. Good one, Jerm. Yeah. Yeah. Why would you do that if it was anti-gravity? But look how pale his left hand is making the chords. That could be CGI as well. But anyway, so this Cassini thing, right? Allegedly, it's going out to the outer edges of our solar system, taking photos and videos and checking out planets and all that. So they said that this thing was going to make a dive through the ice particles of Saturn's rings, and the Captain America shield on the front was going to protect it. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen those videos of like crash tests, where a car hits a wall at 30 miles an hour, then 70, then 100, and then 200. But when a car hits a wall at 200 miles an hour, it almost disintegrates.
The car decelerates from 120 miles an hour to 0 in 68 milliseconds, with its occupants experiencing peaks of 400 G. The front end hits the wall with such force that the back end rises up 90 degrees and the car is slam dunked down onto its nose.
Yet Cassini allegedly dove through a big ring of ice balls at 17,000 miles an hour. And that little Captain America garbage lid on the front protected it. I mean, ridiculous. It would have been vaporized. Then they claimed that these are photos that it took. Hold on. Here you go. Just so people know, that's an actual article from Astronomy, right?
Right.
Just so you can see I'm not making up this story. That's an Astronomy magazine. Cassini dives through Saturn's rings. So that's not me saying they did that. That's them saying they did that. Now, then they claim these are pictures that it took. That's supposed to be a picture from Cassini. And I got that on an Astronomy Facebook page. Now, first of all, that's just fake as hell. Like anyone who thinks that's a photograph just needs their head.
Surely they don't claim that's a photograph.
Yes, they do. They do. And now what I've pointed out here is I'm looking at the shadows. See where I have the red at bottom arrow, right? Yeah. Now, when you look at the lighting, you can see down here the shadow from the planet, quote unquote, is being cast on the rings back here, which would put the light source somewhere around up top in front, right? To make a shadow down here, the sun would have to be somewhere up here. Yet all the rings are lit from this side over here. How could the shadow be on the same side as the direct light source, for starters? Right? You can't have a shadow on the direct lighting side. The sun would be on the left if the whole thing were lit up like this. So the shadow can't be there. And even if it weren't, you can't have a round shadow if you have a light source that's 90,000 or even further away from Saturn. It's millions, because here's what happens when you shine a direct light source on a sphere. You get a giant elongated oval shadow. So you cannot have a sun more than 90. I don't even know how far the sun's supposed to be allegedly from Saturn. But that shadow is impossible. So no, Cassini is not out there. It's not diving through ice rings with a garbage can lid on it. And here's a good one from which I can't remember which mission this was. Their CGI is getting better. This is one of the old school ones. Look at the Earth and then look at his spacesuit. I think it's like, I can't remember what this mission was. Look at the Earth. And look at this. This is like,
is that not perhaps from a movie or something?
No. This is the real one. I can't remember. I might have the name of this walk actually. We'll just keep watching. I mean, give me a break. Fill her up, Bob. 15 liters of unleaded. And the Earth, at least the Earth's spinning there. Like they got that part right. But then like the Chinese ones are really fun. So this is some of the good stuff. This is a Chinese one now. He's playing ping pong in the space station. I mean, come on, man. Really? You know what I mean? And like, how is the ball going down and up if there's no gravity? I mean, just look how bad it's moving.
Wait, I've got a sound effect for that, Steve.
Yeah, I'm going to play again. Here we go. Hold on. Get ready. Here you go. Ready? Totally. It gets better though. I've got even better one than that. I'll turn the audio down on this a little bit. So this is like a Chinese one. Now the Earth looks like that. And it's spinning on one side. On the left, it's spinning towards you. And on the right, it's spinning right. So the Earth is spinning in two different directions at the same time. Can you see that? This bottom right is rotating to the right. And the clouds down here are coming straight at you on the bottom left. Look. Now this belt comes down. This black this belt here. So they're going to go down on that. Somehow he's going to go out that hole down that. I'll just turn it down a little bit. Oh, here, I can do it here. All right, so hold on. Yeah, come on out. Okay, here he comes up. He's coming out now. He's up there on the top left getting ready to attach himself to a seatbelt so he can come out in space. And then, now look at the belt down under where my plaything is. It just disappears. It glitches out. See right here, it goes under the clouds. See where my cursor is, right under the play section? The belt has now gone all the way down to Earth under the clouds and popped back out of the clouds again. Let me see if I can get this box to go away. If we can, I don't know. Okay, I don't know how to get that box there. There we go. Okay, watch that belt. Like, how long is that belt? Like 100,000 feet or what? Here it comes. Oops, it's in the clouds. See it? Oh my God. Oh, it's under the clouds again. It just went under the clouds again. Come on out on your little seat. Oh yeah, you better hook that up in case you go down under the clouds. You don't want to. What the hell is that? Here we go. So there's some real fun ones. Then the same happens. It glitches out. His boot will start disappearing. Now the Earth looks like that. It looks nothing like it did. Here he comes. Look at his boots. Did you see that?
Yes.
Watch his boots. Watch this. They disappear. Boom. Oh. Oops. Did you see that? Oh, there they go again. Now look at the Earth. What's that? Look at the Earth. But hang on. Didn't the Earth just look like this? Right? See his boot? You can see the mask they used when you look at the planet. or the fake planet. See how there's a black shadow where they're drawing in the shadow on the Earth? What's going on is you see his toe right now is going into the other masking from the other side. So that's why his toe has disappeared on his boot. You'll see his feet cross from the one mask into the other, and the CGI can't handle it. I'll do it again. Right here, watch his boots cross the mask. See?
Yes.
Oh, now look at the Earth. What the hell is that?
And the sun disappeared.
Oh yeah, the sun's gone. Now the Earth, and now, but see how the bright spot of the sun is still on the left. See how that's lit up totally white? So how is the Earth eclipsed here with the sun over there? And now it's all lit up. And what is that? No one else's Earth footage looks like that. There's more Dodge stuff. I think his boots. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Now the sun is rising over there, way in the distance. His ship is all lit up from the back. Look at the ship. It's all white. How is the back of this arm white if the sun's that way? That should be black. Shadows don't wrap around objects and light them from the front. Do you see what I mean? See this big mechanical arm hanging down. You can't have the sun way over back there and then have the backlit. That doesn't work. Oh yeah, and as the sun lights up, the whole object lights up from the wrong side. The sun should be behind us for that to happen. You can't be looking at the sun and then all this spaceship lights up white. It would go black. I think there's some more here. Hold on. Let's see what else they got. Same thing going on here. The wrong side of the ship is lit up again. I mean, this is ridiculous. Now the Earth looks like that again. Oh, he's going back in again. Hold on. Let's see. I think there might be another glitch. Let's see. Oh, now they're climbing in. Yeah, here they come. Yeah.
And yeah, the horizon is flat.
Yeah, now it's flat. Yeah, what? Yeah, good. Yeah, look at that.
It's round.
Okay, there's the Earth. Now it doesn't look like that other thing. Like, what's that? What? There's that. Look how fast the Earth is spinning too.
So
look how fast
round.
the Earth is spinning. Like there would be tidal waves and volcanoes. Like it literally just spun a quarter of the distance of the diameter in 20 seconds. Yeah, now there's a flat Earth underneath. And again, like you said, it could be the clouds, but this stuff's coming straight at you, and this stuff's rotating on the right while this is coming at you. So that's not how clouds move. It's clearly a CGI splice. Now he's going back in his little ship. There he goes. And they're clearly upside down. Look how he climbs in. There's clearly, like, quote unquote gravity. He's climbing down a thing. It's just flipped upside down, so it looks like they're climbing up. Now, if you were floating in anti-gravity, why wouldn't you just go in there head first? Right? Wouldn't you just put your head up in that hole and fly in there and then spin around once you got in there? Why does he have to? Why do they make a cut? Can't we see him fly in there? No, because they have to cut because he's really upside down in a studio and he's got to go legs first so he doesn't fall on his head. So now they cut and now his feet are in there and he's climbing down a ladder in slow motion.
Well, isn't it? So again, couldn't it be because he has to, I don't know, close things behind him as he's going in, perhaps?
Well, why did they make a cut? Yeah, it's clear. If I don't know, I don't think I can, but if I flip this video upside down, it would look obvious what's really going. Maybe I can do that. I just don't know how to do that. Now look at the Earth. Now it's a ball again. This is one's called the volleyball head disappears. I think his head disappears or the volleyball does. Let's see. See, his head disappears. One more time. You can get your drum roll ready for this one too. I'll pause it. Here he comes. Oh yeah, the great thing is here. Now, the great thing is too, for starters, is he flying? He's standing on the ground. And then he pushes off the ground like as if you got thrust off of gravity or something and goes flying through the air. But how is he standing on the ground if he's flying around in a spacesuit? You can't jump off the ground when you're in anti-gravity. Now he goes to hit the ball, and here comes his head. Oh, there it was. Where's his head? What the hell is that? Look, Moonhead. I mean, what the hell? Look at that. Get out of here. So they're floating around in the ISS.
To make
allegedly.
monkeys believe in this nonsense. If you still believe in this bullshit, you deserve to lose every tax dollar these lying fraudsters extort from you.
So the card just drops straight down, but not the hammer though, because it's CGI.
If you still believe in this bullshit, you deserve to lose every tax dollar these lying.
You know, and they just hairspray all their hair together. They put it up in hairspray. And even when they're jumping around and it's bouncing, I got some of the girls jumping around. It's really silly. This girl, she's crazy.
Fixed and indisputable laws of physics.
You can see her hair falling
Without
down.
the universe, astronaut hair is the only substance in the universe that defies these fixed and indisputable laws of physics. Without fail, whichever direction you send astronaut hair flying, it immediately snaps straight back and falls straight down. Even with short hair, once again, zero gravity, gravity. Some space hair even defies the laws of inertia and gravity. Watch how this hair is always fixed in one position. There is only one explanation, and that is, it has purposely been styled that way.
This is glue, strong stuff.
When in fact, here's how hair should behave in zero G. The freely moving necklace proves her hair has been fixed in place. So why spend hours purposely spraying your hair with gum instead of tying it down? There is only one reason: to make monkeys believe in this nonsense. If you still believe in this bullshit,
Space, air, and gravy tea. Indeed. Space, air, and gravy tea. Really? Hairspray is all we need. Seriously? To make fanboys believe.
But anyway, if people like that, you know, Ross and I, we got like we've got just a ton of that kind of stuff. Yeah, that we got video after video just exposing NASA for all this fraud, and they're making a killing. It's a lot of money. It's funny, but when you understand that your governments don't have money, but they give them the contracts, and it's you they're extorting for the money to do this, then it's not really cool, you know, especially the shape our countries are in. I mean, look at the United States alone. There's homeless cities going for miles and miles in every major city, you know, 10 cities. This is ridiculous, man. And they're up there monkeying around for $50 billion a year. I mean, you know, something's got to give.
Steve, so are you saying that NASA is just another version of Hollywood?
It is, yeah, basically. I think the Chili Peppers said that space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement.
Oh, that was what? Californication.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically money laundering for all their boys at all their, Jet Propulsion Laboratories, JPL and Raytheon and what's the other one? Yeah, all their main guys. And when you look at these spaceships, allegedly, I mean, the money that they're putting in there, what I think is happening, I think they're dumping shuttles into the water. Funny enough, like right after NASA starts, when you go look at stories about the Bermuda Triangle, you can't find a single story about the Bermuda Triangle until the year NASA starts. The legends of disappearing ships and planes and all that. I think it's because that's exactly where they dump these shuttles when they take off, and they don't want you out there seeing that they're out picking up their shuttles after they crash them into the water. I really don't think anyone's in there. But I would encourage people, don't take my word. Go look through our playlist of NASA fanboys and, tell us what you think. Watch. We've got tons of this stuff. Tons.
All right. Well, if you'll excuse the pun, Steve, but let's come in for a landing.
Yeah. We'll pick us up. That's the other thing, too. I think, when they when you saw the guys come back from the first Apollo mission, you'd think you'd be, pun intended, back over the moon. You'd think you'd be over the moon excited. The three guys are just sitting there like,
yeah, I saw that.
Face. You've seen that interview, right? Like,
yeah. And they didn't even say anything. The president actually spoke.
Yeah, they didn't, because they weren't
as
there.
if he went.
Yeah, and there are clips of NASA saying now, oh, we can't go to the moon because we lost the technology and we can't get through the Van Allen radiation belt. And you're like, well, how did you get through it in a thing made out of shower curtains, duct tape, and aluminum foil? And now you can't get through with a space shuttle? Like, come on, man.
Well, what happened was the Van Allen belt had just coincidentally moved out of the way.
Yeah, they must have got lucky on the way out and back. And they got back in, too. They just sneaked through the window. Yeah. So their stories changed.
They did that Saturn. They did the Saturn thing where they went right through it.
Yeah, they had a Captain America's garbage can lid on the front. Totally. I mean, the thing is, I can't find the footage, but apparently when the original footage aired, there was a Coke bottle or something like that on set in the original moon landing that people watched. And the very first thing that aired, there was a Coke bottle on there, and a lot of people saw it. And I cannot find that footage. If anyone out there has it, send it to me at spacebusters@hotmail.com. That would be great. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing's, it's a hoax, it's fixed. But now the thing is, they've got a younger generation who wasn't around for any of that stuff. So they don't care if us old people know it. And Buzz is, he's senile and telling everyone he's done it. There's also a great documentary people should watch called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. Have you seen that? That's great. And also Astronauts Gone Wild.
How can I follow you?
Yeah, you can find us Space Busters on YouTube, mostly BitChute and Odyssey. Also, if I can get a plug in, our children's book, The Dukes of Dents, is now $2 or $3 off, I think, a pound's on sale on Amazon. If you need a last minute stocking stuffers. And I promised Tracy I got to write one of the forwards of my friend Tracy Northern's book. Trust me, I'm not a doctor, which just came out, and I'm one of the people who wrote a forward. So shameless plugs. And if you want to write to us, spacebusters@hotmail.com.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please visit supportjerm.com.